It's great to have you here with us on this Friday morning. It really is all good news when we talk about the weather this weekend. A quick forecast to remember. Lots of sunshine, warming conditions, but we are going to talk about the winds. This northeasterly wind, that is going to be proved to be a little difficult when we talk about high water levels and also beach and shore erosion. So we're going to explain that scenario. That is all just ahead. As we look at today, 23 degrees in Toronto, great conditions. Kapuskasing gets up to 26. Look at Ontario as a whole. We are looking like a pretty beautiful province today on this Friday. Overnight tonight, still comfortable. As we go into Saturday, the sunshine remains with us. We're 16 in Toronto through the overnight. So if you're out late tonight, if you're headed to the Toronto Festival of Beer, I know that's going to be a fun night tonight. Looks like the conditions staying dry and comfy. 17 on Saturday morning, and then Saturday afternoon, we are up to 25 degrees. Now, before we get into our long-range forecast, I do want to show you some issues out on the roads, because this one, if even you want to avoid that at this hour. All right, as we jump forward now and take a look long range here, it's all about high pressure. High pressure comes into place, and that leaves us with some really nice and really comfortable conditions. We will be shielded essentially by this all weekend long. And even into next week, a fairly dry pattern is coming into play. And of course, this is good news for us because we have been experiencing these cooler, below seasonal temperatures. We've also been seeing very wet weather coming into the picture. So when we look at this is looking pretty good. Now, this is a bit of a change in the forecast here, putting the risk of a thunderstorm into Monday. Right now, the models are sort of flip-flopping between Monday and in through Tuesday when the next front will be coming in. You can see temperatures here rising into next week. 28 degrees is actually above seasonal. And then as we go towards the end of the week, a little bit cooler. And towards the end of the week, well, that's leading us closer to the Civic Day long weekend. And we are expecting to see a bit of a cooler trend, at least for that Friday, still working out the models as we get right through the weekend. All right, when we come back, just taking a break here for your local. An absolutely beautiful day yesterday, but some of those big high clouds there, they rolled right into Oakville, right into Mississauga, and we did get a quick heavy downpour yesterday afternoon. You don't have to worry about that quick heavy downpour as we go into this weekend though. Dry weekend for a change. Yeah, it's going to be pretty nice. It's been 6 weeks since we've seen a perfectly sunny weekend, and that's exactly what's coming into the picture. Well, I have the numbers here to prove it to you. 270% of seasonal. That is way too much rain. It has been soaking wet this spring and summer, so finally a dry weekend for many of us to enjoy. As we take a look at our city right now, we are 18 degrees in Toronto. Winds are coming in out of the north, and it is a northeasterly wind that may cause a couple problems as we go into the weekend, and I'm going to explain why. But first up, you need to know about this. This afternoon, I hope you have the shorts and the flip-flops ready. We're not overly warm, but nice and sunny. A day to enjoy the outdoors, that's for sure. 23 degrees in Toronto, 22 in Barrie. If you are headed down to the Jays game tonight, you have great conditions for that. I know there's lots of Jays games happening this weekend too in the afternoon. Perfect conditions. So very comfortable and hot to be sitting in those stands. As we take you into Saturday afternoon here, 25 for Toronto, 24 in Barrie. So we could argue that we are still a little bit below seasonal as we head into the weekend. 27 is seasonal, and we're slowly climbing up there as we go into Sunday. Sunday is going to be a warmer day for us, 26 degrees in Barrie. I know there's the risk of a pop-up shower here in London. There's one model that's putting the slight potential of a stray shower here across the southwest, but we really believe that it is going to be a dry weekend. Now, I was talking about that northeasterly wind and why it could be a little problematic. So here's this. It's an interesting scenario. We are going to be looking at higher water levels this weekend. Essentially, this area of high pressure rotates clockwise, and we see that sort of pushing this really strong northeasterly wind across Lake Ontario. So as a result, that will create some really wavy conditions, and it pushes the water levels up, especially from Hamilton and over towards Niagara-on-the-Lake. So this region here, this is where we could be seeing some lakeshore erosion as we look ahead at this weekend. So just a heads up if you're going to be on the waterfront. All right, when we come back, we're taking a look at your long-range forecast, and we're also talking about this scene. It took that blue sky right out of the picture and brought in a heavy downpour. Of course, we cleared up. It was a great sunset for everyone last night, but it just goes to show how isolated and how small scale thunderstorms are. You have that perfect afternoon in Barrie, but Mississauga and Oakville, that was a heavy downpour yesterday. Now, we were talking about sunshine, lots of sunshine as we go right through the weekend. A northeasterly wind brings high water levels. We'll explain why that's going to happen, and also a sneak peek into your long weekend weather. That Civic Day long weekend just around the corner. We're 18 degrees right now in Toronto. As we look at the radar this morning, it is all clear, nice and calm. There's a little bit of energy well to the south of us here. We have been following a system that will be tracking south of the Great Lakes. So Niagara region, North Shore of Erie, maybe a little extra cloud cover this morning. But other than that, it is an absolutely beautiful day. 23 degrees in Toronto, in London, and we're 22 up in Barrie. All right, I want to turn things over to Emily Vukovic this morning. Emily, thousands of people will be outdoors in Oakville this weekend celebrating golf, the Canadian Open. Awesome stuff, Emily. Thanks for that. I want to explain this northeasterly wind now. Emily said keeping a little bit comfortable out there. That's for sure. But what it's also doing is rising water levels. And this is an interesting one here. We're going to be looking at strong northeasterly winds. That's going to create some wavy, rocky conditions, especially if you are out on the water. But essentially, the water sort of piles up here. Hamilton down towards Niagara on the lake. And this is where we could be looking at some beach shore erosion and some really rocky conditions as we head into the weekend. So if you are going to be on the waterfront, especially in these areas, do keep that in mind. Tomorrow morning, just stunning. This forecast, it really speaks for itself. We've got great conditions right through the weekend. High pressure is dominating. It's staying in place. The only thing we're watching for is this front here. See this front? It's likely that it could come through Monday or into Tuesday. The timing on this one, still trying to figure that one out. All right, want to take you out onto the roads this morning. Just want to show you how quiet it is out on the Gardiners. I think many of us are saying, well, it's about time. About time we had a beautiful, sunny, gorgeous weekend. No showers in store. It's been 6 weekends since we've had a perfectly sunny Saturday and Sunday. And of course, coming right in time for the Canadian Open. Lots of golf happening this weekend in Oakville. On Sunday, they will crown the champion. Beer Festival, Toronto Festival of Beer. That's the official title. That's happening on the X grounds all weekend long. Sold out event for Friday and Saturday. So this is going to be a really fun and a really busy one to be at. Lots of sunshine, and it will be warmer on Sunday. Now, as we look here, Ajax Rib Festival, that's happening all weekend long. Again, you don't have to worry about running under a shelter in a thunderstorm. No storms in the forecast. If you're in Mississauga, Celebration Square, always a great place to check out on the weekend. Always a lot of fun. Latin Fest is happening this weekend. And then if you are taking the trip up the 400, you're heading to Wasaga, well, they have the truck rally happening this weekend. Enjoy the heat. Enjoy the sunny skies. We have wonderful, really some perfect conditions. On Saturday, 25 in Toronto, and then we're warmer into Sunday. No rain in sight. Enjoy this great weekend. To show wintertime driving, not always the worst case scenario. Very good morning to you. It's been an absolutely stunning sunrise right across the GTA. And you guys have been sending me some great pictures on Twitter this morning. You can find me there at Rachel Schoutsen. I'm going to be sharing some coming up throughout the hour. Always appreciate when you can give me a view of the sunrise because I don't get the best view here in this studio. As we take you and show you some of the current conditions, we're 18 degrees in Toronto, only 5 in Timmins, 9 in Kapuskasing. That is a cool start to the morning, but we're warming up nicely. It's going to be a gorgeous weekend. There is tons and tons of sunshine in store for us, so I hope you have some plans on the outside. Emily, I know you're heading up north this weekend. A perfect weekend to do so, and also a perfect weekend for thousands of people to be watching one of the best golfing events we have. Emily, we're sorry to cut you off there, but those audio issues, looks like we're having some trouble hearing you this morning, so I want to get that sorted out. But Emily is going to be joining us from the Canadian Open this morning. That is at Glen Abbey Golf Course in Oakville, and that is going to be a hot spot, a busy spot this weekend. And I'm so glad we don't have a risk of thunderstorms because that is a lot of people. We're talking thousands of people and some of the best golfers. They'll be there. This evening, we're 20 degrees in Toronto. As we go into tomorrow, the forecast really, it just tells itself. Amazing sunny conditions, 25 degrees in Toronto, and finally a dry weekend. You know, it's been 6 weekends in a row that we have seen wet weather come into play for at least some portion of Saturday or Sunday, if not both. So this weekend, it's dry for Toronto, Ottawa, right up and down the St. Lawrence. If you are headed to Quebec City, let's say, being a tourist, we're looking at great conditions. One thing I want to let you know about is these northeasterly winds. They will be strong. That's why we're feeling a bit fresher on Saturday. And they also could be bringing in some very rocky, windy, wavy, maybe even lakeshore erosion to places like Hamilton and out to Niagara-on-the-Lake. So just a heads up if you'll be on the waterfront. All right, just want to show you our roads this morning. This is a live look at the...
All right, thanks for that. Emily, she's going to have a great morning there as we look to the afternoon values here across Ontario. It's going to be 23 in Toronto. Very comfortable weather for spectators and golfers in Oakville today.
And there's going to be so many people out there right through the weekend as well. So I'm so happy to say there's no risk of a thunderstorm. High pressure is in place. We're going to be seeing really nice conditions.
But Toronto, we've come in at 30 millimeters of rain
For Pearson.
For Pearson specifically, average is 76. I would have thought that it probably would have been more.
I agree.
But
way too much rainfall to the region. All right, as we look at this afternoon up and down the St. Lawrence, stunning conditions. Whether you live there or you're going to be a tourist there, you've got a great day to explore. And then we're still going to watch the risk of some active weather out east in Atlantic Canada.
Yeah, we even have Labrador on a risk for some thunderstorms today. There's a long front moving through, and that will bring the chance of thunderstorms in New Brunswick as well. For places like Halifax where you've seen showers this morning, it clears out by the afternoon for you.
Surf. The water was kicked up a little yesterday, and these guys putting on the wetsuit, could you ever surf? I don't think it's for me.
I don't think I have the abs for it, at least
Yeah,
right
me
now. We are going to have some windy weather today, so some good surfing weather again, I suppose, in parts of the East Coast. It does start to get even windier on Saturday as there's an approaching low along the shoreline of Nova Scotia and into the Avalon. So we'll talk about that now in your Long Ranger. So just quickly, there's a low we're tracking moving across Nova Scotia, just brushing past Halifax Saturday night into your Sunday. Then it moves into the Avalon on Sunday.
Up into Cottage Country, Thunder Bay as we end off the weekend. We're going to watch here for a front that's approaching.
All right, stay tuned. You got your local forecast. Plus, we'll go around the world with the best videos of the week after that.
Want to start things off by showing you some awesome stuff. The sunrise this morning. I'm noticing that sun is rising just a little bit later. I know, not the best sign here, but look at this. Carl Roberts from Port Colborne. That is stunning. Our meteorologist here, Kelly Sonnenberg, she took this one in Toronto, and you can see that sunrise coming in through the buildings. How beautiful is that? And then we also have this, the start of the day in Woodstock, Ontario. Mike tweeted me this one, and I can't thank you enough for sending me the views of the sunrise. I don't get the best view inside this studio. So if you want to connect with me, you can find me on Twitter at Rachel Schoutsen. I'd love to feature some of your sunrise photos on here this morning. All right, as we go now into this week, it is a great forecast. We have tons of sun on the way, warm conditions, beautiful if you are going to be on the outside this weekend. And if you're not going to be on the outside, I encourage you to make some of those plans. There's tons of events. Northeasterly wind brings in some high water levels. We'll explain this one, and then we're also getting you into that Civic Day long weekend too. We've got a sneak peek at that forecast. All right, Emily, want to turn things over to you right now. Lots of golfers excited for this one this weekend. Oakville, certainly the hot spot with the Canadian Open. Awesome stuff, Emily. It looks gorgeous out there. I've actually ran on upper middle. You run right over top of Glen Abbey. Get some pretty good views of the golf course. All right, this afternoon, 23 degrees in Toronto. We're 25 up in Timmins. A gorgeous day right across Ontario. Nice evening tonight. If you're headed down to the Jays game, if you're going to the Toronto Festival of Beer, all those events are a go with really comfortable conditions. 16 degrees through the overnight. As we get you into tomorrow, the forecast is self-explanatory. Lots of sun, beautiful conditions. Wear your sunscreen and keep hydrated this weekend. All right, as we take you out onto the roads this morning, this here is a live look at storm track-in, and that really brought in some heavy downpours. Places like Toronto, absolutely dry. Even Burlington and Hamilton didn't see it. It really was just Oakville and Mississauga. So if that's where you live, that's where I was yesterday. Yeah, certainly got some rain into the afternoon. All right, as we take you now and show you the opposite of rain, it's all about sunshine. Gorgeous, beautiful, sunny conditions as we go into the weekend. Dry for a change. Yeah, for a change, it's nice. You know, this is the first weekend in 6 weeks that I've been able to say sunshine right through Saturday and Sunday. Got some of these numbers to show you here. This is a look at the rainfall that we have seen. Now, to be honest, when I look at Toronto, this is Toronto Pearson, to see that we've only gotten 30 millimeters of rain in July, I was actually a little surprised at that. The average is about 74, so Pearson actually a little below average. But that goes to show how isolated some of these storms have been. Markham, well above. When we look at Ottawa, way above. 270% of the average rainfall. That's what we've seen in July. So no doubt, July has been a wet month for many of us. All right, as we take you now and show you Toronto, 18 degrees. Comfortable start to the morning. Bit of a north wind moving to a northeasterly wind. This could create a few problems when we talk about Lake Ontario, and I'll explain that in a second. First, though, I want to show you this. Great temperatures into the afternoon. This is a little bit below seasonal, but comfortable for many. We're not tracking showers or thunderstorms today. You're going to the Jays game tonight. Really beautiful conditions for that. And the forecast tomorrow, it's self-explanatory. It's gorgeous. Saturday afternoon, 25, and into Sunday, we're up to 27. Look at Windsor, 30 degrees. London here, I know you're looking at that shower and thinking, okay, what's going on? You said dry weekend. Some of the models, they want to pop up a shower west of the GTA, but we're not having it. We're not thinking that that is going to materialize into Sunday. All right, now those winds, the northeasterly wind, I want to show you this. we're going to be seeing strong winds, wavy conditions across Lake Ontario, and essentially that could mean from about Hamilton down in through Niagara-on-the-Lake, we could be seeing some lakeshore erosion here this weekend and higher than usual water levels. It will be rocky across the water, so if you are planning on, let's say, going out on a boat this weekend, expect some pretty wavy conditions out there across Lake Ontario. All right, I do want to show you our roads this morning. This here is a live look at the Gardiner traffic. I'm sure you have that Friday feeling this morning. I know we do here around the Weather Network studios. A gorgeous weekend coming into play. We can finally tell you there's no risk of a thunderstorm. There's no system coming in, just a lot of sunshine. So we got 4 days of sunshine ahead of us. Northeasterly wind brings high water levels. We're going to explain why that's going to happen, and also a sneak peek long weekend weather. That Civic Day long weekend. I know it's coming too soon. It is just around the corner though, and we've got temperature trends and what we're expecting going into that. I do want to show you what Barrie was looking like yesterday. Heating, but it just goes to show how small scale thunderstorms really are. All right, it is 7:07 a.m. on this Friday morning. We're 18 degrees right now. Look at the wind direction coming in out of the north. So it's going to feel a little bit fresher today. Temperatures again, seasonal for this time of year, 27 degrees. We're not going to be getting as warm as 27 degrees, but still lots of sun today. And look at the radar, not much going on. There's this little bit of cloud cover here over Huron tracking down towards Windsor. That's a bit of energy moving in from across the prairie, so a touch more cloud cover across the southwest, but generally we're clearing out throughout the day and we're going to be looking at fabulous conditions. This afternoon, 23 in Toronto, 22 in Barrie. If you're headed up to cottage country, nice dry conditions for your travels along the 400 and the 35 115. Probably be slow because I think a lot of people are going to have the idea of heading up to cottage country this weekend. Now I want you to have a look at this. This is interesting here. This is a look at our wind map, and we are going to be seeing a northeasterly flow throughout this weekend. And what that's going to do is really stir up Lake Ontario. Some wavy and rocky conditions, especially if you're out on a boat, but especially if you're right here in between Hamilton and down over towards Niagara-on-the-Lake. This is where we could be seeing higher than usual water levels, some very rocky, wavy, windy conditions, and of course that could be leading to some lakeshore erosion. So I just want to give you the heads up if you will be on the waterfront this weekend. As we take a look here at Saturday morning, we're 17 degrees in Toronto, 16 in Newmarket. Gorgeous as we head into the afternoon, and even warmer as we move into Sunday. A bit of that northeasterly wind slowly starting to die down. Now the next thing we're going to watch is this here. See this front? This starts to move through Thunder Bay late into the weekend, and some signs are showing that it could be over the GTA by the time we're looking at Monday. Other models putting it in for Tuesday. But what we do know is Saturday and Sunday, nice and dry, nice and sunny for you. All right, the roads. They've also been a lot quieter this morning. Well, good morning. It's great to have you here with us right now. 7:16 a.m. You're watching the Weather Network. And before we get into our forecast, I do want to mention that if you do have travel plans, you are about to head to Pearson, I want to give you the heads up. Last night, that baggage strike for the workers, yeah, it's in place. So 700 now on strike. So that has got to cause delays at Pearson. So just wanted to tell you, to let you know. I'm sure you're planning ahead. All right, this driver, well, he could have planned ahead a little better. Look at this video. That wintertime driving, not always the worst case scenario. You have to be careful when driving in showers. You're not going to be driving in showers today or at any point this weekend. If you're headed up to the cottage, heading camping, all dry, all sunny for us. Things are looking good. We're looking at 17 degrees in Toronto. It's much cooler up in Timmins, only 8 this morning, 13 in Kapuskasing. But we do have a beautiful weekend in store. Bit of a northerly wind, so we're not getting blistering hot, not perfect beach or swimming weather, let's say, but still warm and good enough to enjoy. I don't think anyone's complaining about this. 23 degrees in Toronto this afternoon. As we go into this evening, patio weather, absolutely 20 in Toronto, and this forecast, it just tells itself. Saturday afternoon, we are up to 25 in Toronto, 24 in Barrie. Cottage country, I'm sure, is going to be just beaming with people. Wasaga Beach has some great events going on this weekend with the truck rally, so it's going to be a good time to get out of the city. Or, of course, stay in the city, too. Whatever your deal is this weekend, it's going to be good with the sunshine. I do want to show you our roads this morning because we are looking at a lighter than usual drive. So, of course, cast and thought, okay, I am taking a long weekend this weekend. As we look here, so much sunshine. The warmer day is going to be on Sunday, where Toronto should get up to 27 degrees. One thing I do want to mention, though, is the wind. With this northeasterly wind, it's going to create quite a rocky scenario across Lake Ontario, and that means water levels will be high. Hamilton over towards Niagara-on-the-Lake, and of course, this could be leading to some lakeshore erosion. All right, when we come back, force of nature, we're going to show you the power of a thunderstorm.
Thanks for joining us on this July 28th. We're heading into the last weekend of July already.
I know.
Which
it's
means
kind of depressing.
Well, it means a lot of vacations. A lot of people's vacations actually start on this Friday, heading into next week. Certainly in this building here at the Weather Network, a lot of people will be off next week.
Yeah, and it means we've already made a lot of summer memories, right? So we just got to keep this ball rolling.
I am live from the RBC Canadian Open.
All right, for spectators, for players, Saturday looks good, 24 degrees. Sunday might be a bit warm for a few people. It'll be 27, feeling like 32, but you know what? It's a big event. It'll be televised if you want to watch it in air conditioning, so that's the way to go.
It's going to be a fun one. And we just want to show you how great it is that we are seeing dry conditions for the Canadian Open for this weekend, because we have seen such a wet spring and summer. We look at some of the totals in Ottawa, and it really just blows you out of the water. 270% of the rainfall. But, we haven't seen the worst of it. The situation could be a lot more dramatic.
Places like California, for example, can't buy rain, and they've been dealing with a bad wildfire situation, so it's always the big swings. We are going to stay dry here in Quebec for the afternoon, up and down the St. Lawrence. Pretty nice afternoon, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. Gorgeous conditions. Perfect for a walk or a run. Just comfortable to be on the outside. Now, we do have this front moving through Atlantic Canada, and that actually sends the risk of a thunderstorm up into Labrador today.
Exactly. Even down towards parts of New Brunswick, you'll be in that risk as well into the afternoon hours, and the winds are going to pick up as well this afternoon through the St. Lawrence, the Gulf of the St. Lawrence as well into Saturday, a system that could bring us some showers along the coast of Nova Scotia and heavier rain for the Avalon by Sunday.
All right, we're going to be taking a look at around the world. When we come back, we'll leave you with some surfing scenes in Nova Scotia. With some real beauty. Look at this. Port Colborne this morning. The sunrise was fabulous, and you guys did a great job this morning sending me pictures of that stunning sunrise. Our meteorologist, Kelly Sonnenberg, she tweeted out this one, that sunrise through the buildings of Toronto. And then we take you to Woodstock. Mike tweeted me this, a beautiful scene as you start off the day. That puts you really into the weekend mode, that Friday feeling, right? If you want to send us your pictures today or right through the weekend, you can do so. You can find me on Twitter at Rachel Schoutsen. I love when we can keep connected, because I'm sure you have some amazing summer plans this weekend. 4 days of sunshine ahead. Northeasterly wind is going to bring high water levels. We'll tell you who is at risk for that. That is just ahead. And then a sneak peek. Long weekend weather coming up. 23 degrees in Toronto. Beautiful day in Oakville and a gorgeous weekend in Oakville. Emily, there is going to be thousands of people that are watching the Canadian Open, whether it's inside or outside right on the course. So I'm so happy to say no risk of a thunderstorm this weekend. Emily, awesome stuff. I'm sure a Canadian Open is going to be great, and the golfers are probably going to appreciate those cooler conditions being outside for such a long period of time. But as we look at Saturday morning, 17 degrees, a bit fresher on Saturday. This is technically a little below seasonal, but temperatures on the rise as we go into Sunday. High pressure is dominating, and just want to show you the 7-day forecast here. You can see Saturday and Sunday, beautiful. Temperatures warmer as we go in through the week, and we're going to be watching for the potential for thunderstorms possibly coming through Monday or Tuesday. All right, roads this morning, nice and quiet. More quieter than usual. Look at this here. It's great to have you here with us this morning, 7:46 a.m. And if you are traveling this weekend, you're heading to Pearson, just want to give you the heads up. That strike, the baggage handler strike, it was approved last night. So 700 baggage handlers, they are on strike as of last night. So today, Pearson is going to be busy. Just a heads up if you are traveling this weekend, and good for you if you are traveling, because we're looking at amazing weather, stunning conditions. On Sunday, we're going to be up to 27 degrees, and we certainly deserve a day, a whole weekend, if that in the sunshine, because we've been seeing some really wet conditions. I want to show you this. Pearson actually picked up 30 millimeters of rain this month. To be honest, I was a bit surprised at that. I thought Pearson would have picked up a little more. We're actually below average when we look at Pearson, but it just goes to show how isolated some of those very heavy downpours have been. Think of places like Fergus and Guelph and Mount Forest when we saw that incredible rain earlier this month. Markham, Kingston, Ottawa, all above average. Look at Ottawa, 270% of seasonal. That's how much rainfall they've seen. So a dry weekend for us, yeah, we certainly deserve it across the lower Great Lakes. Right now in Toronto, we're 17 degrees. The north wind, Emily, making it a bit fresh out there this morning, but I'm sure the golfers, well, they're not minding it at Glen Abbey. Good morning to you. Yeah, there's going to be thousands of people at Glen Abbey in Oakville, so I'm so happy to say there's no risk of rain. There's no thunderstorms in the forecast. Sunday is really going to be a warm day. We're up to 27, so that's seasonal. That's where we should be for July. So just keep that in mind. If you don't love the heat, Saturday's your better day to go, a bit more comfortable. 23 degrees this afternoon. If you're going down to the Jays game tonight, or if you just want to sit on a patio tonight, expect to see some clear, beautiful skies. Into tomorrow, 25 in Toronto, 24 up in Barrie, and then we get a little warmer as we go into Sunday. One thing that I do want to mention this weekend is the northeasterly wind. Helps to keep us a little bit fresher, especially today and tomorrow, but it also is going to bring water levels up, especially from Niagara-on-the-Lake over to Hamilton. Right through this stretch here, we'll sort of see a collection of water, some rocky conditions, and that could lead to some lakeshore erosion. So I just want to give you the heads up if you'll be out on the waterfront. Before we go here, the timing couldn't be better. We have 2 full days of brilliant sunshine, warming temperatures coming into the picture right for the weekend. It's really a 4-day stretch of sun when you look at today through the weekend and even into Monday. We are going to be tracking a front long range, possibly Monday in through Tuesday. The timing on this one, we're still trying to stretch that out for you. So, of course, you got to check back in with us here at the Weather Network through the weekend. Northeasterly wind brings high water levels. We'll explain why that's going to happen and who is at risk for seeing some pretty rocky waters, maybe even lakeshore erosion this weekend, and then a sneak peek into your long weekend weather. That's just ahead. I want to show you the blue skies in Barrie yesterday because I love this video. Eventually, it tracked right over Milton and down into Mississauga and Oakville. Everybody else stayed bone dry, but very heavy downpours. So it goes to show you how small scale thunderstorms are and how rainfall totals can really vary when we look at one area as small as the GTA. This here is a look at the radar this morning. A bit more cloud cover through Kitchener, down Niagara, across the southwest. Basically, it's just this system that continues to track across. A little bit of energy there. But other than that, we're going to see more sunshine into the afternoon and really some brilliant conditions as we start off this weekend. Are you traveling up to cottage country? Sunny skies up to 400. I'm sure traffic is going to be quite busy, though. I want to take you outside now to Oakville. We're joining Emily Vukovic. Glen Abbey Golf Course. That is the place to be if you're a golf lover. Canadian Open, it is this weekend. It's going to be gorgeous, and it's so good to say that there's no risk of a thunderstorm or rain as we go through the weekend because we're talking thousands of people lining the golf course, watching some of the pros play in Oakville. Pretty cool that we have this great event in our own backyard. All right, winds. Let's talk about this. That northeasterly wind and the high water levels. We're going to be seeing this strong northeasterly wind. Travels across Lake Ontario, makes it rocky, makes it rough out there if you are going to be out on a boat. And especially from Niagara-on-the-Lake over to Hamilton, this stretch right here, we're likely to see high water levels and the possibility of lakeshore erosion. So if you will be on the waterfront right through this stretch, do keep that in mind as we go into the weekend. Speaking of the weekend, do you have plans? I hope you have some plans. Camping, cottaging? If not, we've got all the ideas for you when we come back. I'm excited for this weekend. We have a beautiful Friday. Saturday and Sunday are looking stunning. No rain in sight for us. 23 degrees in Toronto, 22 in Barrie. A beautiful day today. A bit of a north wind today, though, so that keeps us just a touch fresher out there, but we'll be much warmer into Sunday. If you want that seasonal heat getting up into the high 20s, wait for Sunday, and that spills over into next week, too. I'm giving you a little long-range preview there, and of course, we're going to break down all those details for you. This evening, 20 degrees if you're heading down to the Jays game. Awesome conditions if you're just sitting on a patio and letting the weekend roll in. Good for you. Some weather to enjoy it, that is for sure. Saturday afternoon, we're 25 degrees in Toronto, 24 in Barrie. Cottage country will be into the mid-20s on Saturday, high 20s as we go into Sunday. All right, Emily, want to turn things over to you this morning, and I know your competitive nature and your newfound love of the golf game. How long do you think it'll be until you're in the Canadian Open, Emily? I know you're thinking about it this morning. I know you're planning.
I am, but you know what? This is like a little fancy. You know, this is a little above my pay scale, if you will. I'm actually having my first golf lesson today.
Oh, it looks good. And, you know, I have not practiced my golf game at all this year. I've been told I talk too much to be out on the golf course. The golf etiquette. Yeah, you really have to follow the rules out there. Emily, I'm sure you're doing a good job. All right, as we look at the nice weekend ahead, really, this weather is self-explanatory. One thing that I do want to mention is the winds, the northeasterly winds. We are going to be looking at them really crashing, the waves really crashing on shore in between Hamilton and Niagara-on-the-Lake. That's going to lead to some higher water levels, and if you will be out on a boat, well, things are going to be pretty rocky for you on Lake Ontario this weekend. When we come back, we'll show you the power of a thunderstorm. Well, Mother Nature gave us a really nice treat this morning, that beautiful sunrise. And, you know, from inside the studio, I don't have the best view of the sunrise, so I love when you guys connect with me on Twitter and you send me your view this morning. Port Colborne, Carl sent us this one, beautiful orange glow. Kelly Sonnenberg, meteorologist here at the Weather Network, took this one. The sunrise in between the buildings of Toronto, just gorgeous. And then now we take you to Woodstock. This is what the day started off like in Woodstock. Mike, I thank you for this one. If you want to connect with me, if you want to show me your sunrise photos, or hey, what you're doing this weekend, how you're enjoying all this sunshine, you can find me on Twitter here at Rachel Schoutsen. I love to connect, and of course we can talk weather. There's a lot of sun coming into play. We're talking 4 days of sunshine. This is a great forecast for us. Northeasterly, that's how you say it, wind brings high water levels, and we'll explain why that's going to happen, and then also a sneak peek into your long weekend weather. That's all just ahead. First up, though, let's talk about today. Bit of a north wind today. Feels a touch fresher out there. 23 degrees in Toronto, 24 in Windsor. We could be a little warmer for this time of year, but with all the sunshine, I know we're going to take it. No one's complaining, especially the golfers, right, Emily? We take you now to Oakville Glen Abbey Golf Course. The Canadian Open, the winner will be crowned on Sunday. Absolutely. So many spectators as well. So I'm happy to say no thunderstorm risk into Saturday. The morning, 17 degrees, 25 into the afternoon. And that sunshine, high pressure, it stays with us right through the weekend. Oh, if you have travel plans, if you are heading to Pearson, just a heads up, that strike did happen last night. 700 baggage workers on strike, so I'm sure that has to cause some delays at the airport. Just want to show you quickly some of the numbers, some of the totals for July. We still got a couple days left in July. August officially rolls in next week on Tuesday, if you can believe that. And to be honest, when I was looking at the Toronto totals, that's Pearson, 30 millimeters of rain. That's what we've seen in July. I feel like it's been a lot more. We're actually below average at Pearson, but it goes to show when those thunderstorms hit and those really heavy downpours come down, well, they can really isolate some areas. And for example, we know all the rainfall that Ottawa saw just last week. They've seen 270% of their seasonal rainfall. That is incredible. So thankfully, a dry weekend ahead. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, even into Monday, we're going to be tracking some sunshine. So this, of course, is some great news. This afternoon, we're 23 degrees in Toronto. Comfortable conditions. A bit of a gray start to the day, Emily, but more cloud cover, more sunshine starts to move in. That cloud cover moves out of the way, and you are on the golf course. And, you know, anyone with a tee time, whether you're in the Canadian Open or you're just enjoying a leisurely game of golf, hey, this is the weekend to do it. You know, I'm always told that I talk too much on the golf course and I need to quiet down. You can make a lot of noise, though, at the Jays game. Yeah, that's tonight. Perfect forecast for that. 22 degrees in Toronto. Gorgeous conditions this evening. Now, before we move forward into the weekend, I have to show you this video because this video caught my eye this morning, checking out some of our stuff behind the scenes here. Just goes to show we don't always need a huge snowstorm to get some incredible accidents out on the roads. Thankfully, though, we will not be driving in any wet weather this weekend. If you're headed up the Cottage, 435 115. I'm sure it's going to be packed with people and traffic, but at least you'll be sitting in the sunshine. 24 in Barrie, 25 in Toronto. We're warmer as we move into Sunday. Sunday is just a glorious day, and we do have this northeasterly wind throughout the weekend, and that means water levels could be a little higher Hamilton down through Niagara-on-the-Lake with some rocky conditions across the water. When we come back, we have a story about raccoons and a rare finding. Will you be pitching a tent this weekend and sleeping under the stars? Well, if you are, good for you. You picked probably one of the best weekends in the summer to do so. You probably won't even need that tarp because we are looking at perfectly dry conditions, high pressures in place, warming conditions as well. Oh, that campfire. And hey, look at those ideas. Emily had some great ideas yesterday. She was out camping with Scouts Canada, the baked apple in the fire, the banana and chocolate in the fire, a big upgrade from your s'mores. So maybe think that when you're doing your groceries for camping this weekend. It's great to have you here with us. We're breaking down your forecast. We're getting you into next week, and we even have a little preview for the Civic Day long weekend. That's coming up in your Long Ranger. Just give me a minute. As we get through Friday afternoon, 23 degrees, gorgeous day today. Beautiful conditions. Sunshine is out, and it is lasting all weekend long. Dry weekend for a change, which of course is going to be nice for us. It's been 6 weekends in a row where we have tracked at least some sort of rain, whether it was a big system that came through a thunderstorm, but this weekend, nice and clear, and of course, perfect timing for the Canadian Open. If you are headed to Oakville Glen Abbey for that, you'll be sitting in some great conditions. 17 degrees as we start off tomorrow morning in Toronto, 25 into the afternoon, and we'll be a little bit warmer as we go into Sunday. Look at Toronto, 27 degrees, cottage country. That is going to be a beautiful day across the Muskokas into the Kawartha with us. Nation's capital gets up to 28 as well. Now, one little hiccup this weekend, something that we're going to watch is this northeasterly wind. Makes us feel a little bit fresher on Saturday, and it also could really bring up the water levels. We're going to be seeing wavy, rocky conditions across Lake Ontario, and especially here, Hamilton, down towards Niagara and the Lake, sort of where it all collects here. We could be seeing some lakeshore erosion and some pretty rough conditions. So that's something to watch if you will be on the waterfront. All right, what happens beyond this weekend, and what does that long weekend look like? Well, your Long Ranger starts now. Sunday, we still got that high pressure in place. Great conditions on Sunday, but we're watching this. See this front here? That's going to be tracking some showers as we end off this weekend through Thunder Bay and Timmins, slowly sinking down closer to us here across the Golden Horseshoe. So some models putting it on Monday, others putting it into Tuesday, a little far out, but looks like we're still going to see some sunshine on Monday. We just got to time this one to see if it's happening really Monday or into Tuesday. One thing we are confident in, though, is temperatures will be staying slightly above seasonal as we go into the start of next week. 28 degrees in Toronto, 29 in Mississauga, 27 is seasonal. So where do temperatures go from here? Slowly on the decline. Thursday and Friday looks like we'll be a little below seasonal here, and that is of course leading you into that long weekend. So right now we are thinking the long weekend a little cooler than seasonal across the lower Great Lakes.